Now we get to the bold predictions for the race in Baku. And well, talking about that, last season, how realistic did it appear that Sergio Perez will win the race? Not much, isn't it? And how realistic was it to see Daniel Ricciardo in 2017 crash his car in qualifying, start the race in 10th, make an early pit stop, drop down to 17th, and even then win the race? The point is, when it comes to Baku, it's Christmas Day for someone special. Other than the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which was, well, by normal Baku standards, a bit of a dud. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix has thrown up one surprise after the other in all these years. So, when we sit down to make any prediction about the race, trust me, it's bold. A straightforward race and a straightforward result in Baku is a highly unlikely possibility, and that is why when we make these predictions, we're putting our neck on the line because more than likely they will be wrong. So without further ado, let's jump straight to it and dish out our top 5 bold predictions for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Now in number 1, I have Max Verstappen is going to dominate and win the race. After the Monaco Grand Prix, there has been a lot of buzz around Sergio Perez and the fact that he beat Max Verstappen over a weekend for the first time at Red Bull. Perez won the race while Max Verstappen was third. Now all the praise is well deserved, and it is hard to ignore that Perez is only 15 points behind Max in the championship. But there have been many pundits that have probably gone a bit overboard with suggestions that Perez could even be a championship contender this season. To an extent, it's not wrong to give props to Perez for the level of performance that he has shown this season. He has been more or less there or thereabouts when it comes to the ultimate pace of the car. But while it's completely justifiable to say that Sergio Perez has upped his game, all this talk around his teammate is only going to fire up Max Verstappen. The Red Bull driver is arguably the best driver on the grid at the moment. And lest we forget, Sergio Perez, with all his improvements, still took 7 races to beat Verstappen for the first time. The track layout for Baku favors Red Bull over Ferrari with its long straights. The Dutch driver has been a bit off color in the last couple of races. Neither Barcelona or Monaco were Verstappen's absolute best performances this season. At Baku, expect the reigning champion to make a statement, as he will not only win the race but dominate his teammate at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. In number 2, I have at least one Mercedes car will end up on the podium. Now for all intents and purposes, every pundit will be keeping a keen eye on Mercedes this weekend. The kind of transformation it showed in Barcelona, if it can put together that kind of weekend again, it might be something impressive, because although even in Barcelona, Lewis was maybe not as quick as a Verstappen or a Leclerc, his speed was still in the ballpark. And while Mercedes did struggle in Monaco, and the middle sector at Baku is going to be troublesome for the slightly unconventional Mercedes design, the car should come alive in Sector 1 and Sector 3 with all those long straights and fast speed sections. Although yes, it would be a step too far to consider either Lewis Hamilton or George Russell challenging for pole position, but is a podium out of reach? Certainly not. Expect at least one of the Mercedes drivers to be on the podium for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And if they're not, I would actually be slightly surprised, considering their caliber and the kind of improvement the team has shown. Now in third, I have the impact of the new regulations will be more than evident at this race. Now, as I said earlier, the race at Baku, well, it has been notorious for being a bit of a slow burner at the start. It used to be case with the previous set of regulations, as the cars used to lose ground and would be too far behind by the time they reached the long straight in Sector 3rd. With the new regulations, the cars are now much easier to follow. Because of this, they will not lose ground in second sector, and ultimately we can expect an increase in action in an already action-packed race. Now, to be fair, it's hard to predict exactly how much of a difference the new cars will make. But surely there is a possibility of a return to the kind of racing we saw in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Why? Because even here, after a driver is able to overtake on the long pit straight, there are sections where cars will be able to fight back after being overtaken. Now, in my view, I might be entirely wrong by the way, this race is going to be fun. It's going to be filled with action, it's going to be filled with overtakes, and maybe some twists and turns which I cannot even predict. Now, in number 4, I have points for Sebastian Vettel, but not much progress for Aston Martin. In the last few races, we have seen Sebastian Vettel excel in punching above the car's weight. We saw that in Imola and we saw that again in Monaco. Aston Martin has brought in a completely new design for its car. The new car, although it looks like a replica of the Red Bull, it has not shown the kind of improvement in speed that was expected. Sure, there have been reasons cited by the team that Spain was the very first race with the car, that Monaco GP had rain making things complicated, but looking at the positions where Lance Stroll finds himself more often than not this season, it shows that the new car has not really met the expectations of the team or even the paddock. Now, the team comes back to the place of its only podium in 2021. While the hopes might be high, expect another points finish for Sebastian Vettel as he drags his Aston Martin to the points once again. But at the same time, it's very hard to expect Aston Martin to make progress and unlock a silver bullet in the third race of its new concept. Now, in number 5 and last, I have Daniel Ricciardo is going to have another disappointing race. Talking about Baku, Daniel Ricciardo loves Baku. The love affair that started with the race in 2017 is still there, but the Australian is in a precarious situation in McLaren. After the outburst by Zak Brown, it's hard to see Ricciardo continue beyond the 2022 season. At the same time, Ricciardo still needs to prove himself not only to McLaren but other teams on the grid as well. This season's struggles for Ricciardo, well, they have been a bit of a mirror image for what happened to the Australian last season. He suffered massively at Monaco in 2021. Even this time around, it was more of the same. It's just that the car characteristics in the slow speed sections is where Ricciardo is just not comfortable, and even in Baku last season, he had a tough time keeping up with Norris. This time around, Ricciardo is desperate to put on a good show at Baku. But if he is limited by the car, which he most probably would be this weekend, then he can't really do much in terms of results. And yet again, this weekend, in my humble view, we might be looking at another disappointing weekend for Daniel Ricciardo.